getting caught up. I'm also trying to there's an issue with another match which is starting right now, so I was just trying to sort that out as quickly as I could. But for now we're going in game, so it's MorroW versus GoOdy, and in the upper left hand corner we have our purple Terran player. It's ESC Gaming's GoOdy, the Panzer General himself. And here on Deadwing, let's see how this is going to go. In the bottom left hand corner of the map we have our teal Terran player from Property. It's MorroW. Hey Cheesehead Logic, how's it going? How you doing? Thanks for stopping by. Hope it's going well. I haven't seen you streaming much lately, man. I watched your stream a lot during the WCS qualies, but I haven't caught you lately, if I'm going to be honest. Been busy though. First week of Team League. Got to, add in all the rules and stuff, which I forgot to add in the first place. A lot of extra admin work compared to the rest of the league. Barracks first here for both players, so no gas first. It's been a while since I saw TVT without a gas first. Both players can open with Reapers actually here on Deadwing. And so MorroW just going to be heading across the map with a SEV it seems, so he wants to go and try and scout out what his opponent's up to. GoOdy doing the exact same, so both players are going to scout each other straight away here, at very similar times. GoOdy will see it slightly sooner, and both players will see that it's a Reaper opening, so immediately it's kind of very interesting, the dynamic of this game and where it goes from here, because they're both going Reaper, which means one of them, do they both get aggressive and risk losing their Reaper to a defensive Reaper? Because a defensive Reaper will have advantages. Do they only build one Reaper and then go into Marines, or what do they do? It's going to be very interesting to see how they play this out. So Reaper versus Reaper here to begin with, as first SCV moves across the map, and it will get the first scout off, and again he sees it's a Reaper expansion, and of course MorroW is about to see the exact same thing as he pops up over here and heads in towards the main base as well. So Reaper's coming up about 60% of the way done. The command center here will finish morphing into an orbital and will drop that first mule. And again, both players right now know exactly what is coming up from their opponents. So GoOdy's just going to rally his Reaper into his base, and MorroW's going to stay aggressive with his Reaper. Both players going into a second Reaper as well, which I think's the correct way to follow this up. And yeah. GoOdy, dead Panzer General, says Roguff. Roguff, I bet you're happy, man. I know you always ask if any Terran players are playing. And now we've got an actual TVT. How exciting is that? So a couple of Reapers are going to be on the map here soon for both players. MorroW actually only going as far as the Watchtower before falling back with his Reaper. And as second Reapers finish up, we'll see what is added on next. A third Reaper from both players. So both players actually realising the importance here of the early Reapers in this situation. I mean, the thing is, two Reapers or three Reapers is much better than one Reaper and one Marine, or one Reaper and two Marines. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a bit of a weird early game, right? Because if you don't have a higher number of Marines to begin with, because you open with Marines generally, then you wouldn't be able to hold off if your opponent had more Reapers than you. I think at 3, it should become okay, because they're both, maybe they make up to 4. No, reactive for both players, wow, so they both do the exact same thing. So apparently this is how you respond to a Reaper versus Reaper opening in TVT. So, yeah, factory is on the way down. It's going to finish up here in a few moments. The reactor is coming up on the barracks as these three Reapers heading across the map, and MorroW will go moving up into the high ground here, and GoOdy will get the first shots off, but actually the targeting is much better here for MorroW, and straight away he is going to take an advantage, as he's going to actually throw away his advantage, and well, that was a little bit interesting. I feel as though if you pulled that, I mean, the first Reaper going down was fine, you couldn't really help that. That was just a bit of a micro error, but the second Reaper, I really don't think he should have lost it. Either way, he still manages to pick off an SCV. Just feel as though he could have done maybe a little bit more, as our Reaper heads back home, coming back down to the bottom left side of the map now, as a command center, orbital command halfway through, morphing in over here. Factory going to land on this reactor, and a third command center already on the way from GoOdy. So this barracks going to land now as well. And again, the starport about finished, so we're about to see kind of the classic 1-1-1 opening eventually getting come up here. There's going to be a Banshee play out of MorroW. So I'm going to swap that onto the tech lab. And what is GoOdy doing with his starport? Nothing at all just yet. Both players reactoring out Hellions. And again, just very similar openings until we see this Cloaked Banshee from MorroW, and of course the third command center already being down for GoOdy. So this Cloaked Banshee really needs to get some damage done. It really does, because if it doesn't, GoOdy's really going to be able to start running away with this game in terms of the economy. A couple of Hellions moving through to the middle of the map, and they're going to join up with the first 2 Hellions, which are already here, alongside the Reaper. Feels a bit like a TVZ Reaper Hellion to start things off, and MorroW will just come up the ramp and will just poke at the front, see if he can get anything done. But he sees the bunker, probably realises there's not much he can get done, although he could turn around and get that Reaper, but GoOdy pulls it back before MorroW decides to leap on the opportunity. So units still moving around the map here as a couple of turrets get added on for both players. For MorroW. He is preparing for Cloak Banshees of his opponent, so he just continues to fall behind here. And as he scans, he'll actually see... I think he just sees that there's nothing really here, so I think he's just going to cancel all of those turrets, and he did. So he cancels the turrets, drops his own first CC. Did he see the third CC? No, but he saw the starport, didn't see an add-on on it. He saw the second factory too, so I guess he's just assuming here. As, again, there isn't really any detection quite yet for GoOdy. Raven's on the way, but no scan means that this first Cloak Banshee is actually going to get quite a bit of damage done, probably 6 to 8 workers, I would say. Before that Raven pops out, it depends. Raven pops out. It depends how quickly he moves in here, and he will start moving in now. There's one worker. The worker's pulled pretty quickly though, and well, okay, maybe not quite that 6 to 8 I was expecting. There's 3 and there's 4. I guess he's still going to get about 5 or 6. I feel as though he could have moved in a bit earlier. He was going right up the edge of the map. He's still going to get 6, and we'll just sit here now and begin kiting away. Maybe no, he's just going to sit here and take the damage. Or is he? Is he going to run? Oh, he can't run. Okay, so a couple more shots go off. He actually gets 9 workers in total here in the end, and well, we see this group of Hellions still here for MorroW. MorroW is 10 worker advantage then, so he did the damage he needed to do. He also saw the third command center of his opponent, so he knows exactly what he's playing against, as both players are playing mech here. MorroW has added on a second factory as well, and of course we expected GoOdy to play mech also, so some mech versus mech here on Deadwing. Oh, could it get any better? I don't really think it could. A couple of Vikings, the Raven here, all joining up, and GoOdy was with barracks in position to watch any kind of incoming aggression. So the thing is, MorroW knows he's playing against mech. GoOdy knows absolutely nothing. He has no idea what his opponent's doing right now. He's not seen any units for a long time. All he's seen is the Cloak Banshee, so he has no real idea what the follow-up is. MorroW already added on an army, already moving out his third base because he knows he's safe to, because he knows he's not playing against Bio. Whereas GoOdy, he can't afford to stretch out to a third command center, to the third base just yet. He doesn't have the tank count yet. He doesn't, he's got a few Hellions, but Marine Marauder will clean that up if a couple of Medivacs are with it. So for now, this is really nice. It's a bit of an interesting third base to take though for MorroW. My 40 would probably take this base because generally in TVT, when you have tanks, yeah, this alleyway here can be very deadly. Your opponent sieges up there, boom, all of a sudden you lose the worker line, you lose the mine on your base, and you're in a lot of trouble. So he's going to have to make sure that he keeps on top of this, and as GoOdy works his way through these rocks, it looks as though he really wants to take this base here instead. Now, of course, it could very well be a fact that MorroW knows he's playing against mech, so he might just say, well, if I sit here, then there's no way he can ever get in towards my bases. Whereas if I take an expansion here, I kind of have to spread out a little bit more to be able to deflect a push. So I guess it's just something which he, which he thinks out and tries to decide. He's actually going to send out a Hellion here. He's going to check for hidden bases. Doesn't want anything to, come up under his nose, which he doesn't know about, which he can't respond to. And MorroW overall just holds a little bit of a supply advantage. The army supplies are very similar. It's just a couple of SCVs that he's ahead, 63 to 59, as armies will finish up for both players. MorroW already started that +1, and GoOdy's army about to finish up here as well. He does move through to the middle of the map. What's the Viking count at? 5 against 4, and with a Raven for GoOdy, that will be air advantage to him. He scans now, he sees the Hellions, he sees the tanks, he will know this is mech play. As this extra production comes up from MorroW, and look at this, already GoOdy moving towards this kind of position where he's going to be able to harass this mineral line. And again, I mean, this is just why it's a little bit of an odd third base to take. Only a single siege tank though, so it's not that big of a deal. But there's not even air control to really contest it here from MorroW. So scans even, and he's going to start getting some shots off. His SCVs will be under fire. 3 workers killed already and a mule, and 4 workers, 5 workers now. As well, this could be interesting because MorroW is going to be able to. Is he going to morph into Hellbats, or is he going to go in as Hellions? He's moving his tanks forwards to lead the way, but GoOdy moves back, and he's going to be able to get away with this without taking much damage here at all. Moving the Hellions back here again, and now they're getting one more shot off to finish things up. And now these Hellions are kind of zoned out as MorroW moves out onto the map. These Hellions are going to have a little bit of a tough time maybe moving forwards here. as they're going to spread out a little bit. PTT comes down, so GoOdy should maybe win this area, or maybe not actually. The Vikings doing a pretty good job here for MorroW, as he does have more tanks on the ground for here initially, but in the end GoOdy just seems to have a little bit too much, and he will push this away. Another couple of tanks coming in from behind for MorroW, which is interesting because there's a lot of Hellions here. These Hellions are very low on hit points. I actually think GoOdy is making the right decision to fall back and to just repair up his units. And he should repair these up because, I mean, he can basically double right now. I mean, with every unit basically on half health, he can basically double the strength of his army just by repairing. The 4 added in here, and it looks as though MorroW going to move out into a defensive position of his 4th base now, which has started up, and GoOdy going in for that as well here. So both players playing a pretty nice mech game right now against each other. And neither player had a really clear advantage for a while there. MorroW was up about 20 supply, but I think he stuck around a little bit too long. And sticking around a bit too long was maybe his downfall, because he could have done a lot more. Because, you know, he could have stayed up in supply, so... Alright, so Hellion getting picked off there. There's a couple of scans come down, and MorroW will see this 4th base on the way up for his opponent. So, tank. Just sitting around. Not really much to say right now then. Both players just sitting defensively. As SUVs move forwards and will come into this mineral line, but won't really find too much to do. I mean, they'll get to mine some minerals, but I'm trying to make something exciting out of... No, I'm trying to make something out of nothing here, really. GoOdy is going to move out into the map, though, so we have a bit of a move out here. He has got a second army, so he'll get ahead in upgrades here overall in the long run. This is going to be an interesting fight, though. There's a few Hellions which were not morphed into Hellbats there at the start of this for GoOdy, which means that the Hellbats of MorroW definitely get a bit of a better start to this. But the tank count is higher for our for MorroW, so he should actually be able to... Oh, it's pretty close. He's got the air control as well, so he can see this. And... be interesting to see what he does now. He's going to move a few tanks a little bit further forwards, and he will be able to just work away at these, but he loses 2 tanks in the process of moving forwards. As this 4 moving a little bit too far forwards as well here. And again, MorroW takes a little bit of an advantage with this for now. This 4 going to work away at these Vikings. So we actually have Hellions running, Hellions running by here. 8 workers killed, nothing too substantial. Both players on 72 and 74 workers, which is a lot of SCVs. These Hellions are going to try and run by as well. A similar move coming out of MorroW, but there's a Hellion in position to actually spot this coming, so GoOdy should be able to respond to this nice and quickly. Hellbats and 2 tanks are pulled into position, and we'll deal with them Hellions before they even get in there. So good stuff so far. These tanks sitting in the middle of the map then, they're going to be able to, well... Maybe. I mean, it's kind of hard to push forward into a sieged up player, but that's definitely what he could maybe be hoping to achieve here. As, there's not really too much to buffer for these tanks. Again, though, there is an upgrade lead for GoOdy. Unsieged here. Are we going to see this move forwards? Perhaps? No, he's going to come around the right side. Or what's going to happen? He's actually sending in quite a bit of army up this left-hand side. And a couple of units over here for GoOdy. For now as well, as it looks as though MorroW will be able to re-siege, and he should be able to grab a couple of things here because he had that faster siege, and he will pick off a couple of tanks. So small victories, as he's actually, with 2 unsieged tanks moving forward, he's actually doing a pretty good amount of damage over here, and will actually be able to may able to pick off 1 more tank. And he does just about manage that. He's just slowly moving his way towards this 4th base, and you can see he kind of wants to get into this position to siege this up. And he will see his opponent there, though, and oh, how close is he going to go? He's going to take a lot of damage here, actually. He's going to lose 2 tanks and a couple of Hellbats. As Scanning in the middle, he also sees what's left here, and reinforcements could definitely move in and clean that up. So a very, I guess, very caster thing to say, a very positional-based game here right now. As we're just sitting in range of a sensor tower. GoOdy has a hidden expansion up to this upper right side. That's something which MorroW scouted for earlier in this game, but hasn't scouted for in a little while. And I'm surprised he doesn't move forwards into these 3 tanks and take this middle position, as he sends a big chunk of army to the left-hand side. Once again, this is something GoOdy really does have to respond to. Now there's more army here, so it's probably not as good of an idea if MorroW wants to try and move forwards into this, as these Hellbats will move forwards in the medevacs, and they're going to pick off that 4, no problem at all. And MorroW's going to keep advancing forwards here. He's going to have a lot of units, and GoOdy just doesn't really have much, or what he does have, his Hellbats aren't really in position to help out so much. And his tanks starting to fall very quickly. 3 tanks remain on the high ground here for MorroW, so he's going to stick in a very nice position. He trades off pretty well over here, but will get cleaned up eventually. These Vikings land and clean up that one more tank. And, well, not really too much else going on right now, as we have our +3 about to finish here from MorroW. That's something which GoOdy didn't start, the +3 weapons. But again, he's got +2 vehicle plating, so he will stay ahead in terms of the upgrades overall. As MorroW is just positioned, you know, he's leaving a little bit of his army up here, and he's going to be able to come along the left side again with this small group of units if he would like to. He's been very he's liked doing this so far, and he might actually, you know, maybe change things up, go around the right side, try and get a siege up over here, as both players just sit in the middle of the map. A few Vikings trying to look to see what they can get up to, and oh, the siege tank's going to get some shots off there, and a couple of Hellbats go down. MorroW just going to start taking a 5th base in a very standard position, but not if the Vikings kill it first, and SCVs will be pulled to deal with this, to repair it up. I mean, the command center needs to stop moving, because if it keeps moving, SCVs can't keep up with it, because of the minerals blocking their paths, and he does lose that command center, which is a pretty big loss. So GoOdy's really starting to run away in terms of economy, because he has this upper right base. Again, he's a few workers down. +3 weapons now starts for GoOdy, as well as another scan comes in here, and it's going to be a bit of a slow game for now, for a little while. So moving forward, these tanks are going to siege, and these tanks will go down. So tanks going down, and well, these Hellbats trying to move back. As another scan comes down here. Another little bit of damage being done, but I think this is a better trade for GoOdy overall, as hidden base is found by MorroW, so this is really nice. Finding the hidden base, and should be able to shut down the mine. He's not quite realised it just yet, though, so this Hellion's just slowly working away on a refinery instead of something useful like the SCVs. So I'll just keep an eye on this for now. As scans continue to fall here, MorroW trying to get into position to be aggressive on this base. Not really much you can do though, as oh my god, the Banshee transition from GoOdy. Moving forwards, and we'll be able to pick off a few tanks, and I mean, MorroW added on some extra starports now, but he was not prepared for this. He has a single turret, but it's going to give GoOdy a lot of position here in the middle of the map. He does have some Vikings, he has quite a lot of Vikings to chase these away with, as both players are going to siege up here, and it's going to be GoOdy who has that higher tank count, so he's going to be able to keep pushing forwards, as he's actually getting into a really good position right now. These Vikings may land on top of this tank line though. I mean, they're pretty spread out, so I mean, they could probably pick off most of those, but maybe doesn't want to throw away his anti-air. GoOdy's out of money at this moment. Yes, Vikings. What's the sky battle looking like? More Vikings for MorroW. There's a Raven out for GoOdy, and there's of course +2 plating on these Vikings though, so that's a big difference as well. As scans continue to come down, this high ground is taken by MorroW for a couple of moments before GoOdy scans and cleans it up. And still, just some more SCVs going towards this top right base. It's a surprise we don't see a few more Hellions going up there to deny that from MorroW. MorroW pushing through forwards a little bit further here, and his own +1 vehicle plating will be coming in here very shortly. GoOdy about to get +3, so he's about to be on 3-3 upgrades against 3-1. So again, that that advantage is still his, as MorroW does now start to come around this right hand side. And again, this is something I would have liked to see him do a little bit sooner. I mean, there is a sensor tower up, yes, but he's actually just going to send a few units up to deal with that base, and I'm not sure if he really needs to commit that much to it. I mean, all you really have to do is send a few Hellions, and the workers are gone. I guess he wants to try and make sure you can kill the command center as well though, but look at this, a push through the middle of the map from GoOdy, who's got a lot of 4s out right now, and MorroW doesn't really have anything set up here defensively. He sieges up a few extra tanks. It's going to be a slow push forward from GoOdy. A single tank to the right side will do a little bit of damage, but gets cleaned up very, very quickly, as you could probably expect. As ooh, I like this. So he's actually just left the Hellions up here to do the work, and he's killed off 23 workers. So GoOdy is going to start struggling in terms of money. But look at this, a counterattack from this is a very interesting counterattack from MorroW. I didn't think he would come around these back rocks, and he's actually going to get straight into the supply lines of his opponent here. This is absolutely huge. These tanks are going to move forwards, and four goes down, and a tank goes down. He's going to get into the supply lines, so this is absolutely critical. And GoOdy, I think, has to fall back from this position which he had on this base here. 30 workers have now been killed as these, I don't know where CVs are continuing to go down over here probably. A single Seeker missile is not going to do very much on its own. There's a couple of tanks siege, but one will fall before he even sieges up, guys. And I mean, MorroW, he keeps advancing forwards here. He's going to get into the production line, and that is absolutely huge. These Vikings move forward, but the Vikings are going to take a lot of damage. GoOdy is losing everything, and well, this is not good at all. GoOdy's actually just going to GG right then and there, and this was a